through 6. Remember, the Lord tested Joseph's character. It says Joseph was a very handsome and well-built man. And Potiphar's wife soon began to look at him lustfully. She said, "Come sleep with me. Come sleep with me. Come sleep with me." Here has more authority than I do. He has held back nothing from me except you, because you're his wife. How could I do such a wicked thing? It would be such a great sin against God. Verse 10. She kept pressure on Joseph day after day, day after day. Come sleep with me. Come on, no one will know. No one's watching. We won't get into trouble. Everything's going to be okay. Come on, come sleep with me. But he refused. He kept out of her way as much as possible. He just avoided her. He just kept out of her way. Now let's not miss this. Potiphar's wife was attractive, and she was a temptation to Joseph. If she wasn't attractive, Joseph never would have been tempted. And if he wasn't tempted, his character wouldn't have been tried. His character wouldn't have been tested. His character was tested because she was a fine-looking woman. She was someone that a man would want to have. Says, "Oh, I wish I could have her. I can't have you, it would be wrong. You're Potiphar's wife." So he said no. If she wasn't attractive, this whole story would mean nothing. But she was a real woman, and he was a real man, and the temptation was real. The Lord was testing Joseph's character. Think about this here for a second. Potiphar's wife was put there to test Joseph's character. Potiphar's wife was in Joseph's life to test him to see if he'd keep his eyes to himself and his hands to himself. That was what was going on here. Also, Potiphar's wife was tempted just like Joseph. The difference is Joseph passed the test and Potiphar's wife failed it. The story goes on. And this is what we're reading about right now, is Joseph being put in the fire. He's being put in the fire because he's being tempered. His character is being developed, and the temptation was strong, but Joseph was stronger. God was tempering him to the place that he could fight the battle but not be broken. Are you with me? So what goes on in the story is Joseph is accused and ended up of rape and ends up in the dungeon. While he's in the dungeon, it says this, 29, 21 to 23. It says, but the Lord was with Joseph in the prison, and he showed him his faithful love. If you let God temper you, if you're faithful in the fire, God will show you his faithful love. God loves to show people his faithful love. But part of seeing God's faithful love comes from the fire. It says, and the Lord made Joseph a favorite with the prison warden. Before long, the warden put Joseph in charge of all the other prisoners. And everything that happened in the prison, the warden had no more things to worry about, because Joseph took care of everything. And the Lord was with him in the dungeon, in the fire, in the tempering. The Lord was with him, and the Lord caused everything he did to succeed. See, the Lord was testing to ask the question, can I put him in charge of more? Because Joseph is going to get raised up to the highest place in the government. But God had to test him. So when he got to the place where he could have any woman he wanted, any woman that appealed to him, he was the second guy in the government. And God wanted to know, can I trust him to keep his eyes to himself? And can I trust him to keep his hands to himself? God was testing him. And Joseph passed. She lived so comfortable that she's in the house by herself. She could say, Joseph, come. No one will know. No one will ever tell. And she had everything she wanted, except she didn't get Joseph who she wanted. And she was that way because she hadn't gone through the fire. But Joseph said no because he'd gone through the fire. Because character develops in the fire. There's a Bible teacher who said this: comfortable living often produces weak character. Comfortable living develops weak character. See, character development happens by embracing discomfort and asking the question, Jesus, what are you trying to do? So Potiphar's wife is in my life. What are you trying to do, Jesus? What way are you trying to form my character in the hard times? Jesus' brother James wrote to the Jewish believers who were going through a terrible time of persecution and hardship. James chapter 1 verses 2 through 4 says, consider it pure joy, rejoice, be happy. He says, consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds, because you know the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Now don't miss the rest of this. And he says, you know that your testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature, complete, and not lacking anything. Isn't that what we want to be? He says mature, complete, and not lacking anything. He is at work in your life and mine. In the tough times, leadership pillar, so that he can release authority, and he can release power, and he can release influence without us being destroyed and the people around us being destroyed. See, history is littered with people who had charm, who had charisma,